Hello and welcome to another episode of the Town End. The Tolka Park screw job. Really disappointing end to what was another promising game. And here to discuss it with me, we've got Gally,
Even
Donald, and he's on time tonight, Steph. Well, lads, it was another promising performance overall, but a very disappointing end to the game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's more. It's probably I've seen a couple of tweets there, and there seems to be a bit of anger about it. It's a bit early for that kind of crack, but I think it's probably the first result that you're not annoyed with, but disappointed with. We've had some, we've had the draw last week and stuff like that, but I think it's the first where I've been very disappointed with it. I think just, even simple things. We've had a lot of the ball, but then we're at this crack again. Well, and it was guilty under Kenny as well and Peart that we keep the ball and then do nothing with it. And it was simple stuff. Sometimes it's better just to go very direct with it, and it's frustrating. And I don't think that the first half in particular, I don't think it was great for either team. But probably 50-50 on possession. But again, nothing in the final third. Wardy was getting hold of the ball sometimes. Bradley was okay. I know they took them off at half time, but I joked on our chat that you could rerun the, before the goal went in, we could rerun the post match from last week because it was almost a carbon copy. It's the first night that I wouldn't say I'm lost for words. I'm disappointed with it. That's probably the best way I can put it. And look, I know it's early doors. We've no right to be too disappointed with the change we've had, but yeah, that's probably the best way I can sum it up with one word.
Yeah, I think it's disappointing, isn't it? The manner and kind of just how we drew the game. Donald, myself and yourself were talking before the lads came on, obviously about, it's great the amount of possession we're having, but it is, I think we discussed it off air that we had 3 shots on target, we had two off target. That's probably not enough for the amount of possession we had, isn't it?
No, and I think there's a couple of ways of looking at the whole, the performance overall. I mean, if aside from a clumsy mistake or a miscommunication or whatever that was at the end of the game with the 2 centre backs and the goalkeeper, we're probably coming out of there with three points, and we're fairly comfortable for the whole match. But then I think what we're saying there, the amount of possession that we had, we shouldn't have been in a position where if we make a mistake with a couple of minutes to go, we don't get 3 points. We should be putting those games out of sight. I thought, for most of the first half, I thought it's there for us to win it. I didn't think Shells were going to create many chances to get a couple of goals ahead of us. I thought they had the good old JR had a good chance in the first half that he wanted into the sky, so he missed that. But aside from that, they didn't really create that many chances, so it was there for us to win it. And I think I had written down in the first half from one of the fellas in the first half that I don't think there's no referees in European football that are more susceptible to crowd noise than League of Ireland referees. That there was a Sam Bone challenge with, I don't know who the Shells player was, but the crowd went nuts and all the players gathered around. So I was convinced he was going to send them off just because there was that much furor around it. And it was the same with the incident for the penalty, that as soon as there was that much noise and that much outrage from the Shells players, I was like, he's going to give a penalty. He's not going to turn around and say, no, that's not a penalty. I've made up my mind. But I think the thing that we'd have to remember as well is we're going to be pointing this out a lot. It's going to annoy people. It's already annoying people on social media. But a lot of those lads have a hell of a lot of learning to do. Playing in games in front of crowds, that type of thing hasn't happened to them. That kind of game tonight hasn't happened to them. They have to learn so much, and we have to understand that and appreciate there will be mistakes like we had tonight, and there will be games where, say, someone who's in red hot form doesn't show up or doesn't play well or whatever it is. We're going to have that kind of inconsistency. So it's just something that we're going to have to get used to. But yeah, it's overall, it's a disappointing evening because you're that close to 3 points. That would have been really, really helpful for us.
Yeah, And Steph, moving on to you, there was a couple of changes tonight, and one of them I think was one that's kind of been called out for on social media, and it's been said on other podcasts throughout the last couple of weeks. Mark Hanratty came in as deputised at left back. How did you feel he done? I think personally, I think he done all right, didn't he, for a young fella to come in? I think I could be wrong, but I think it's his first start for the club, so it's nice. Nice to see a player coming through the academy and coming on and just looking so comfortable on the ball, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, he was very calm and he was picking out his passes, and even once or twice he took on the winger, which showed a bit of confidence. He was playing the ball into the winger, but sometimes he was clipping it in instead of if you ping it in towards him, the winger can get at it quickly and then make up his decision. Sometimes it was just a bit slow, but look, he's playing out of position. He could transform into a good left full. Look, some of his positional play mightn't have been great at times, but look, he'll learn all that the more games he's played. But to come into a hostile atmosphere like Donald mentioned already, and I thought he accounted for himself really, really well. Like he was calm and composed. He sort of rode his luck on one. I think he was coming across. He tried to come across the field. He sort of no choice, but tried to come across the field, and it was sort of a block tackle, but the ball sort of rolled for him. So, look, I don't know. You can't really have too much complaints on him. He didn't really put a foot out of place, and he was solid enough. And that'll do him the world of good as well. I think he's played the 90 minutes, and even in the last couple of minutes, the ball sort of went in behind him and he was chasing back towards his goal, but he didn't panic. He got to the ball first ahead of good old JR and won the foul then. So yeah, look, I thought he done reasonably well. It was just disappointing to give away that goal. It's a long ball straight from the centre half, Luke Byrne, and Connolly was calling for offside. It'd be interesting to see how close it was. He was adamant it was offside, and then he was very close to the edge of the box. It could have been outside the box as well. So, but it was a rush of blood from Shepherd. He shouldn't have happened. And I thought there was enough defenders around there. And even if the striker does get on it, he still has a bit of work to do to finish the ball. It's not like he's tapping it into an empty net. Maybe a bit of rush of blood to the head and inexperience. And hopefully Shepherd will learn from that, because it's a mistake that's cost us in the end. Yeah,
absolutely. Gally, obviously one of the players that came in and started tonight's another one we've kind of been championing for his performances off the bench this season. Keith Ward. If you take away the obviously he set up the corner, was it for the goal or was it a free kick or whatever? But
free kick, yeah.
But how do you feel he done overall tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we were looking for him to start a match. We were talking earlier in the week about the Sulphurs last week and Sligo and stuff, and he needs to be playing on a snooker table to really kind of get the best out of him. But I think, his influence, I think at one stage in the first half, in the corner of the box to the left of the telly, we watched it, he must have 3 or 4 defenders around him, but they don't know what to do with him. He's so fast. It's not even that he's pacey, it's his feet, but his vision of passing is incredible. But I don't think it was his best game, but I definitely think he had enough influence on the game. I mean, his ball for the goal is excellent. He couldn't have picked it any better. Holman's got up for it well. But I don't think we have another player like that. I know we got strong, decent midfield, but I don't think we have. Obviously, with Mac and Lenny last season, that was that element of it. But in a similar vein, maybe Ryan O'Kane, but it'll be a long time before we see that probably level from him. But having him coming off the bench is excellent. But it's great to see him starting a match and getting a run at it from the off. The pitch isn't great, but look, if we give out a bit of pitches every week, we'll never get a podcast off the ground here. But I thought he was decent. I didn't think he was excellent, but I thought he had enough influence in the match. The problem we had was that he was getting plenty of the ball and we were getting plenty of the ball. But there was just no end product. It was always going to be a goal like that, a set piece, a corner kick, whatever it may be. I mean, like Steph mentioned, the sucker punch to the keeper. But we've called the keeper, right? I've probably done it as well. But I mean, he's had a great game up until then. He's come out from his box. Maybe he doesn't think the defenders are pacey enough. He obviously thinks he's outside the box because he's gone with it with his head and he's caught your man with his shoulder. If he thinks he's inside the box, he just goes and grabs it. but momentum would have taken him out anyway. So it'd be interesting to see what happened. I seen the replay. It's definitely a foul. I still don't know anybody at the match. I don't know what kind of eye line they had, but I still don't know if it's a penalty shot or not. The referee didn't know. The linesman he kind of went to the end line to make it look like it was a penalty to make up the referee's mind. But you know, I think just going back to the original question, Wardy, look, it's a massive presence on the field. I mean, his range of pass, and like he can bring a game that's going very slow and just change the complete pace of it from the final third right up. But he also comes deep for it when he needs. He didn't come too deep tonight for it, but yeah, look, a player like that coming off the bench. I mean, there's teams in the league that don't have that quality on the bench. I mean, I think he's a cracking player, but tonight probably wasn't just his night. But he had enough influence to kind of, if we just had, I think Davy Mack probably would have got better off him than Hoban maybe, just with the pace. But look, it's one of them games that you're just, like I said at the start, it's a disappointing game. I don't think there's any. I'd be interested to see the man of the match shouts that we get. I don't know. I think it might be a slice of pizza for everybody. I don't know what way we're going to work this one out, but yeah, look, I'm a fan of Keith Ward. I don't need to keep explaining it.
Yeah, speaking of that, if anybody wants to win a free pizza tonight, send in your comments for man of the match tonight, and we'll get to it a little bit later in the show. But Donald, obviously, as I said earlier, we only had 3 shots on target. One of them did thankfully result in a goal, and another one for Pat Hoban, who's now, I think he's 15 goals away from breaking that record, or from equaling the record. It's a different system for him, isn't it? You know, he's having to play a little bit deeper in the game, but he is still getting those chances. I think he scored a couple now with his head this season. How do you feel he played?
I thought he was very good. It's a strange one when like your centre forward had pretty much only had one chance, and it's that header and scores. Like you can't ask for any more from him than that. Like, but the work rate, like he's the work rate he puts in and the performances is always well up there, you know, and he always makes his presence felt. And like he has played, I guess, like a couple of different styles of football now the last few years, but like he's very comfortable coming, you know, deeper into the game and picking up the ball and going forward with it. It's an interesting one when he's been used to having one winger on the left-hand side, and it's the same winger every single game. So he has to get used to the two boys changing game in and game out. And it was obviously disappointing that Dickie had to go off at what looked like a hamstring injury, I think. So that's a little bit more chopping and changing on the two either side of him. So he has to get used to playing with whoever it is going to be like the first choice wingers. But I think we know what we're going to get from him. Like we know if he gets a ball that he doesn't like, he will let absolutely everybody in the stadium know he doesn't like the ball he's after getting. But we also know no one's going to work harder than him for 90 minutes. So he took his goal brilliantly, brilliant header, and it's what, again, it's just what you expect from him. One chance and one goal. There's literally not anything else you can ask from him.
It was I think it's seen James Rod. It was 100 league goals. Is that right? The James Rod, like that's phenomenal.
Incredible.
It's a phenomenal record for anybody.
Yeah. Well, look, I think we'll talk a little bit more about the match in a little bit, but I'm just conscious of the fact that our guest has been sitting waiting for almost 20 minutes now, so we're going to bring him in.
We do listen to us already.
We do advertise ourselves as we discuss all things Lily White, and this season it's been great to see that Dundalk FC has an under-17 ladies team playing in the Women's National League this year with a view on a 5-year plan, I think, to move into the senior women's division. So I'm delighted to welcome the head of the ladies programme, Bernard Freeman. Bernard, how's it going?
Well, how's it going, lads?
Bernard, how are you?
Not a bother. Can you hear me all right, yeah?
Yeah, all good, Bernard. Yeah. Bernard, so you kicked off last week with a 3-3 draw against Bows, and it's a historic moment for the club, you know, to have a team playing in the Women's National League. How did you feel after that?
Absolutely. Look, this is a plan we've had together for probably the last 6 years since I took over the girls' football in Dundalk. And myself and Martin Connolly kind of sat down 5 years ago and put this plan together to try and get a National League team together. Lucky enough, even with the change of owners and everything else during that stage, the plan still came together. Last Saturday was our first game against Bows. We were probably disappointed we didn't win. We were 3-1 up at one stage. We had an unlucky penalty, a bit like tonight, really. And I think the heads went down after that. But look, it's a great start to the season. Bows is a team that's been there a long time now at this stage. And to draw with them is a good result at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah. No, that's it's great to see it. And then you've got an under-16 team as well, isn't it, playing in is it the Metropolitan League?
Yeah, we've an under-16 girls in the MGL, which the Metropolitan Girls League. That's the original team that we grew from probably 5 years ago. We had them playing under 13s, 14s, 15s the whole way up. And we had a lot of success with that team. We've a lot of new players in on that now this season, and we're still looking for a lot more. Some of the girls moved on to the under-17s team. The rest stayed in the under-16s team, and we'll probably move on over the next couple of years into the 17s and hopefully move forward from there.
Yeah, so if you want, if you don't mind, Bernard, just for people maybe that didn't see, I read an article where you were talking a little bit more about, the plan going forward to get another 19 team and then eventually to have a senior women's team playing in the National League. Do you want to just talk people a little bit through that?
Yeah, as I said, this is our first year with the 17s. We'll probably keep that 17s going again for next year because most of the girls that we have will qualify onto that. In 2 years, we'll probably have a 17s and a 19s team then, or the 16s, 17s and a 19s team. So the 17s and the 19s will play in the Women's National League. And then the year after that, 2024-25, we should have a senior women's team if everything goes to plan. And that's basically the 5-year plan. So 16s, 17s, 19s and senior women's, hopefully by 2024-25.
Brilliant. I'm going to bring Gally in a couple of minutes. But just, being out in America, it's... the women's game is obviously very big out here, and I think it's fantastic to see just the effort that's being put in Ireland now to promote the women's side of the game. So what kind of, Bernard, what brought you on to, or what inspired you to get involved and to head up this side of the club?
Well, believe it or not, 6 or 7 years ago, my daughter wanted to start playing football, and there wasn't a whole lot of girls' teams around at the time. Dundalk was probably one of the only ones in the area. And she was lucky enough to get on to that. Now, again, they were playing back in the MGL back then. And it was only small things. They were playing 7-a-side. And they just had 7 players. I think there was 7 or 8 players at the time playing around. And that's what really kind of got me into it. There were short coaches because there was one lad kind of running the whole lot. And he ran with the next team up. So I took on the younger team. And it just kind of ran from there.
Good stuff. As I say, it's great to see. Gally, I'll bring you in there.
Yeah, that's just what Bernard said. Like that's, I was going to ask how you got involved, and that's probably the answer you get from most people. It's your daughter's gone up, your kid's gone up, and we were the same. Like we set up the club, but even before that, I was involved because family members were involved. It's so difficult. And look, Bernard probably knows at the level they're playing at more than anybody. It's so difficult to get people involved. That it's great to see because most of your coaches are going to come from the parent sideline. Yeah,
absolutely.
My attitude would be if you're up watching the match, you might as well get involved in the coaching if you can. So it's great to have, it's great that you started and now you got your 5-year plan in motion. I'd be interested just to ask, from my point of view, so you're linking in with the Loud School Girls League, we've Castletown Bells, and so you'd be looking to. I was reading your interview with James Rogers the other day. You'd be looking to kind of progress probably the best of the best, I suppose, from the Loud School Girls League. Would that be something you look to facilitate up at Oriel Park?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we'll be going around looking at the School Girls League. So they play up to under 14s at the moment. We'll be looking at the girls that are in the emerging talent, and we'll be going around looking at the teams playing as well. That'll be my end of the job now, rather than the coaching end of it at the moment. And we'll be inviting girls up to come and play for the under 16s. Hopefully now we'd have them for 2 years at the under 16s. So you're giving them time to develop and the style of play that we play in Dundalk. And hopefully they'll move then from the 16s up to the 17s National League and move on from there. Like, the idea is to give any girl that wants the opportunity to play football at a top level, instead of having to travel to Dublin to do it, we're going to give them the opportunity to do it here in Dundalk. It's something probably that's been lacking. We've lost players over the years, to the likes of Bows and Shelborne and Shamrock Rovers and stuff like that, where local players have gone and played with them. And we've been lucky enough, some of them have actually moved on and played for Ireland, like Sophie Waters. So we want to give the girls that opportunity now to play in Dundalk and play for their home team and have it as a Dundalk-based team.
Yeah, I think that's I like, even when, like, so when my father was involved in the club at, mid-noughties, so 2005, the FAI Cup and that. But like you say there, the teams coming from Dublin, like, even the stories he would tell me, teams wouldn't come up here and play the Dundalk team. They had to play they won the league in Dublin, playing a full season away from home. Like, when you think about it, it's to get a hub of football is probably the best way of putting it, in Oriel Park. It's especially at the younger age groups. Anybody can have a crack at the seniors if you've got the numbers, but it's really the underage system that'll kind of not bankroll, but that's your conveyor belt of players for the next couple of years, and it's fantastic to see. Like, I think over the last probably 2 or 3 seasons in particular since the Loud Schoolgirls League started, we've seen this rush of, I think we're talking 600 local players playing the Loud League. So that will only benefit the likes of yourselves and Martin, and I think I read that your son's involved as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's involved in the coaching of the under-16s. Yeah. So.
Yes, like, and that's where you start. That's what I got involved, because my father as well, and that's what you want. You need that kind of approach to it. You want people who are going to be invested in it, and the likes of the Loud League and you've been up there. We've never had that before, whereas the schoolboys would have had it for years. So the work they're doing, it's fantastic that it's going to kick off. What my main the angle I'd be looking at it from would be your 5-year plan. Would you consider taking, like, would you have the option of players from Dundalk, but would you also open the scope then around Loud, Drogheda, Cavan, Monaghan, that type of thing, or would you like it ideally to be in the local area, I suppose? No,
absolutely. Like, as we're working with the Loud Schoolgirls League, we're also working with the Cavan Monaghan Schoolgirls League as well, because they wouldn't have as big a setup as Loud would at the moment. Yeah. So we've been in talks with Cavan Monaghan as well, so they're going to step in as well and give us a hand with players. But look, we'd love to have a Loud-based. We're open to all players. Yeah. But ideally, we'd love to have a Loud-based team if the quality's there. Now, I think it is. It's just a matter of going out and finding it. And again, it's a matter of the clubs coming out and helping us with it. Because, as I say, what we want to do is we want to progress the players on as much as we can and give them every opportunity to have. Yeah, and I just not to re-quote you on anything that you said, but just one of the bits I read, I just have it written here. You're not just doing it for the sake of doing it, and I think we've seen it over the years that a lot of clubs have entered leagues. Like Shamrock Rovers are probably one of the high-profile ones that entered the women's team, and I think like that quote there, they probably done it for the sake of doing it, and it didn't go too well. It cost them a lot of money, and they end up kind of just folding. So I think the approaches have now is by far and away the best approach. And I know, we're singing from the same hymn sheet. I know Pinker coached a lot of girls out there in the States as well. But you got to progress the younger ones. And I think it's fantastic what you're doing. And I'd be interested to see how, like, even I give you a plug days. They're playing tomorrow, I think, at 1:00. Is that correct? That's right. Yeah, we're playing Shamrock Rovers tomorrow. Yeah. So that should be a big game. That's at 1:00 in Oriel Park itself. So it's our first home game. If anybody's listening and are free tomorrow, I'll be up myself hopefully, because we don't have any games yet in the Loud Schoolgirls League. So look, if anybody's about, look, this is, it's easy for me to say and for you to say, Bernard, because we're involved in it, and Pingu as well over in Chicago. But this is the best young talent at that age group in the area. So if you're free and you're available to go up and watch, why not? Lend your support. And it can only benefit everybody. I mean, a crowd, these young ones playing in front of the crowd, like you say, it's a first home game. Shamrock Rovers coming to town. I don't know. I vaguely remember a girl from Dundalk playing for Shamrock Rovers. Is she still at that age group? The girl from Bellorgan. I don't know. That's right. She might have progressed on further, but that could be a nice wee homecoming if she's still playing at the Rovers team. You never know. We might actually convince her to come back and play for Dundalk. Well, and now she has a reason, because it wasn't available to her, and that's what he's trying to do up in Oriel. And if you don't provide it. Yeah, look, to be honest, a couple of years ago, like as I said, we play in the MGL, and the MGL have an emerging talent as well. And up till probably a couple of years ago, no player outside of Dublin played on it. Right. So Dundalk was one of the first teams to have a player outside of Dublin playing in the MGL academy squad. So that was another kind of real push for us to show that we had quality. And from that, we ended up having 12 players on it last year between the two age groups. Fantastic. So, the quality is there if we can if we have the opportunity to show it. And we're lucky that the club has given us full backing this year, and Martin Connolly over the last couple of years as well, to be able to get to where we are today.
What if I see I read you the headline here? You have it's lofty ambitions. I don't know if it's that lofty. I mean, it's a Dundalk. At the end of the day, it's a Dundalk team. It should rightly be in the Women's National League. Would you envisage kind of, would you have a goal set? Is it just a matter of playing in the league and playing regular, or would you have kind of bigger ambitions? I know obviously when you get the seniors, there's only so many players that can get selected from 16, 17, 18, whatever way it goes. But would you have, would you set your sights on anything in particular?
Yeah, look, as I said, we're not doing it just for the sake of doing it. We're doing this, we're going to be competitive this year. As I said, we play from the MGL. We play these teams every week. So this is naturally just the next level up is the National League. So we played the likes of Peamount and Shelbourne and Bowes every week anyway. So this is just really the next age group up. And we've done well over the last couple of years playing them. As I said in the interview, what I'd love to see someday is the senior team and the two senior teams, actually, the men and the women, in the FAI Cup final on the same day in the Aviva, and both teams coming home with the trophy. I know it's probably a big ask, but you might as well dream high when you're going. That's
it. Like you got to, like you say, if you provide it for the players, and something you touched on there, the talent is here. And like I've said it on these podcasts before with girls soccer and the Loud School years, like the talent's it's 100% here, and it's just about harnessing it and getting. It's probably more attitude than anything else towards girls soccer that's been lacking. It's not that the players haven't been there. Unfortunately, you would have lost some over the years to Gaelic and stuff like that. But I definitely agree with you on the talent's definitely here. There's no, I've seen it, many times. Like you say, the ETP and Loud, an excellent setup. Mick Neville's involved there as well known at Oriel Park over the years. And it is, 100%. I believe that there's no doubt that a 5-year plan. I know last year it was mentioned maybe. I think they were talking maybe 2022 with a senior team. That was probably a little bit ambitious, but I think it's the right idea. But the 5-year plan, and I think it'll only go from strength to strength. I think I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. Just looking forward to having national ladies football in the area. It's something that's not been done before. And although the old Dundalk team that won the FA Cup would have played in the Dublin League, as it was so called, the level you're going up now it's on another grade. And I'm sure I wouldn't get into figures, but I'm sure it can't be cheap. So you gotta go gung ho and all into it. So I look for myself. I wish you the best. Look, it's fantastic to get it going, and looking forward to a couple of games over the season.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Yeah, thanks a million, Bernard. And I think just again to remind anybody if they want to get up to watch the match tomorrow night or tomorrow at 1:00, it's history in the making, isn't it? It's there's only one time that a Dundalk team a ladies team is going to be able to play the first game at home and to get it against Rovers as well. Go and stand in the shed and shout abuse at the Rovers players. It doesn't matter the gender, just let them know where they are.
Absolutely, that's what it's all about.
Thanks a million for coming on, Bernard. I wish you the best of luck with the plan. And in about 3 or 4 years, if there's any jobs, let me know and I'll fly home.
Absolutely, no problem at all. Listen, lads, thanks very much for having us on. Really appreciate it.
Bernard. Thanks very much.
Cheers, Bernard. Best of luck, man.
Always grafting, lads. Always trying to get that job. But,
trying to think of the last guest that was on that you haven't asked for a job for at the end of the interview.
Yeah.
Prostituting yourself out there. Someday somebody will say yes.
Just trying to subliminally tell people I want to move home. And Emily's listening here in the background as well, so she'll be shouting in a second.
But it's
very subtle.
It's great to see. I'd have a passion for girls soccer and stuff, but to see it at that level, and look, I was at a high level back in the day, but it took an awful nosedive, and look, for whatever reasons, you don't need to get into that, but it's fantastic. It's fantastic to see. I look as forward to this as I do watching the lads. It's great to see the best of the best. I know a couple from Glebe North. I was reading the coached them under 7 and stuff like that. But even Bernard was saying last week they played Bowes under 17s. The Dundalk manager is the next Bowes coach. So look, it's tying up nicely for them. And look at them. Looking forward to watching some cracking, because my under 14s when they enter the league playing Sundays at the minute. So I'm looking forward to getting up to Oriel on the Saturday evening to watch the matches. So look, it's going to be it's nice to see the girls taking centre stage over the lads for a couple of hours.
And Gally, so like,
Yes,
would that be a pathway from your club into Dundalk FC?
Well, if they get the ETP, that'll be their pathway first, yeah. But absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Look, that's that'll be
Players
the
get
natural.
contracts, get long-term
They'll be
contracts.
they'll be
make
signing
sure the club
contracts,
can't
yeah.
sweep in and take them from
Yeah,
nothing.
I'll be signing when they get to the right age. We'll be signing contracts, and they won't be going for a small fee.
I think it's great. Isn't it? It's great that there is a pathway now to the top level within the area. Because as you say, Gally, it was Dundalk Town Ladies, wasn't it? Before was it Dundalk Town Ladies?
Dundalk City.
Dundalk City Ladies.
And just what you say, like that was it. Like if you didn't get on that team, you were they would have been a senior squad. So there was a 16s and a 14s that played MGL, but you would have had to go to Dublin then. So when all that kind of died away, like we've seen it, Sophie Waters, Lynn Craven, Grace Murray, so the other girl escapes me, and Lydia Lynch from below. But these have all gone to Dublin. When it could have been in Oriel, and now it is. And first job, as soon as you get to the women, them girls are going to be mid-20s. So I'd be getting them back as offering captain and vice captain, whatever they want to do to get them back up in Oriel Park. Because that, like, to have that as your benchmark for the team, and then the young ones around them. Yeah, look, that's what you want.
Right, Gally, if I'm going in as manager, I'll take you in as sporting director there because you've good ideas to get a couple of top players.
Me and Jim. I'll be the next sporting director after Jim and Jim.
Donald, you're going to be the analyst, and Steph, I'll bring you in as my assistant. All right.
Psychologist.
Jesus.
But yeah, look, it's fair. Yeah, fair play to Bernard and all the work that's been done in the club, and hopefully it's a success for everybody. And I hope that 5-year plan they stick it out. But I think it bodes well for the future. But going back to tonight, as we've seen all the other results again, reminder we're going to do our man of the match award in a couple of minutes. So if you want to pick anybody, let us know soon enough in the next few minutes. But look, 1-1. 7 points out of with 5 games played, 7 points out of 15, not looking great. I mean, don't want to get too carried away yet. How do we feel about that? The points tally, Steph, you look a bit confused there.
I'm not confused. I just heard you saying not great, but look.
I mean, in terms of the points, you know what I mean. In terms of the points,
bar a mistake tonight, we would have been well up there. I think Rovers are top and we're 2 points behind them. So shove that up your hole.
Just cut that out there for Chris, and Chris back and advertise this week's pod.
No, but look, I thought it was a good performance, and I thought we'd done a lot of good things. And like I keep hopping on every week that we're just learning. We're learning to play with each other. We're learning the system. I thought we closed down off the ball very well tonight. We limited them to hardly anything. I think they had the chance at the back post, which was skied over the bar, and there wasn't a whole lot pile apart from the silly mistake for the penalty. So on another night, we win that game and we pick up the 3 points. I suppose that, like, maybe further down the season, we'll see out games like that, or we'll hold on to the ball more, be more progressive and more direct. But I think we're just still learning. We're still learning at the minute. And I think anybody that has any criticism of the team at the minute has been very, very harsh. We probably could have more points on the board, but I think you just have to support them at the minute and really get behind them. Like Rovers on Monday night, you'd love to see a big crowd there and get behind the team, and hopefully that can lift them to a couple of percentages and to make the draws into wins or a late goal to get an equaliser or something like that. But I think this team's learning all the time. Like if you look at the last 3 games, we've conceded 1 goal in 3 games. So we're talking about being solid at the back, and tonight was a penalty. So we've conceded a penalty in the last 3 games. So maybe I'm just being over positive about it, but I think we just really need to give them a chance and get behind them.
Yeah. No, I agree. I was just saying that just in obviously the manner in which we drew the game tonight, it feels like, I think the commentator said it was at 1 point gained or 3 points dropped. So I don't know where he's getting the added point from.
That's him sacking the moment.
But Donald, I suppose,
Jay.
again, to go on Steph's positivity there, you know, looking at 5 games in unbeaten, I think that has to be seen as a positive. I don't know in the dressing room if they'll feel like that after tonight, but I mean, they'll probably wake up tomorrow and they will see that positive side, you know, so that has to still bode well. We haven't lost a game yet.
Yeah, and apart from, say, going back even to the first game, the chance that Derry had a couple minutes to go where they hit the bar, like, that's the closest we've come to losing the game. We haven't been holding on. We haven't been, like, scrambling and, like, clearing shots off the line and just, like, madness and chaos in the box trying to keep a clean sheet. Like, we've been comfortable in every game really since then, you know? Like, you were looking at it like we would be more likely to have gained an extra 4 points rather than lost 2 of those games. Like, I think of the Bows game, we could have won at the end. And then obviously tonight, we should have won tonight. You know, obviously last week doesn't count because that wasn't a proper football match. But no, it's very, very easy to be confident about being unbeaten. I think the problem is going to be outside. Like, the squad themselves can be happy that they're unbeaten and they'll know how well they've played in these games and they'll analyze everything and they'll be able to see what they can improve on and what they've done well. But when it's, like you said, 7 points from 15, and then say the first loss does come on Monday night against the others, the narrative can start to turn a bit. You know, like, it's not like within the club they can be like, look, you're playing against the 1.5 times champions, so you might lose. That's just, everybody might lose. But there's, like, I don't think Steph's been too positive. You know, I think that's the right way to look at it.
Yeah.
But the problem is going to be that we felt like going into the Finn Harps game that they could really have done with the 3 points just to get the monkey off the back, just to get the win and take off. And I think tonight might have been the same kind of thing. It would have been brilliant to get the extra 2 points tonight, not the extra 3 points on top of the draw that we apparently could have gotten. I don't know how you get that extra bonus point, but I had to look into it. But I think it would have just cushioned it a little bit going into Monday, because say we get another draw on Monday. Now, we're going to win Monday, so this is all the moot points, so it doesn't matter. But if we don't win Monday, then you're going to draw it on the Friday night, and suddenly it's an absolutely massive game. And not long term over like the course of the season, the 3 points aren't going to be as big as it's going to feel like on that night. But that's going to be a massive atmosphere up there. And the boys are going to it's going to be another learning curve for them. So I think positivity, I think it's right to be positive about what we have. And we do have lots of, like, really good players, and there's lots to be positive about. I think I've said positive about 100 times.
The power of positivity.
The power of, if I just keep saying it, it's going to get into everybody's
That's a psychology course kicking in.
Subliminal messages in.
Yeah. But no, it's I think Monday night is going to be a special night. Like you said, Love was absolutely jam packed on Monday night, and there was a brilliant atmosphere. Like there should be, but it's just a shame it's a Monday night. But I just want to. We were talking about we weren't talking about it, but the others were playing Bows tonight, and it wasn't on the TV. And I'd like to commend RT for not showing it, because they obviously knew what was going to happen. It was much better watching Wales and France in the egg ball game. But yeah, look, I think 7 points from 15 doesn't sound brilliant on paper, but I think it's a lot. There's a lot more to be positive about than that. Just the last thing I'm going to say.
Positivity.
That's the word of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I look at, as I say, maybe I phrased it wrong earlier when I said that. And
No.
Steph's side told me, but
You did.
I think Peter's just more disappointed because you're leading again, and look at, you were leading against Derry twice.
Yeah.
So it's just more disappointment. It's not that, you know, geez, well, we've no right to be hammering anybody. What are we, 6 minutes into the game, like, into the season? But yeah, you're just more disappointed you didn't get the win. But look at a point. It could be a very good point, you know, 7 or 8 months' time, you know.
yeah, and I mean, we were up against the best manager that's ever managed in the league,
And the best midfield in the league.
and the giant as well. So, when you take all that into account, it actually was a great point. So thanks, Steph, for clarifying all that for me, pal.
No problem.
But yeah, look, we'll move from a giant to a giant bag of shite for Monday night. We're up against Shamrock Rovers. It's going to be a tough ask. But do you expect them to go back to probably an 11 that we've been a little bit more familiar with in the 4 games previous, Steph?
Yeah, I think looking at the starting lineup, we sort of said it was a lineup sort of with Monday in mind. Even Bradley coming off at halftime, I hope that was just, saving him up for Monday night possibly, because he's the one that has played the whole time. So, look, I think we'll go back to more of the starting 11 that we were used to in the first couple of games, and then give it a real go. I think the crowd can get behind the team and we get an early goal, or even we can just get in front at some stage. I think we'd be hard bet. We have that in our heads now that, we're unbeaten, so it'd be nice to keep that run going.
Yeah. And Gally, you're hoping or you expecting that there'll be a big crowd in Oriel? I mean, the games, those midweek games, we always seem to land one midweek game a season against Rovers, and they are, as Donald said, always special nights, and the atmosphere is nearly what gets the team over the line, so you'd be hoping there'll be a big crowd there, won't you?
Yeah, I like the only there's no real reason why there wouldn't be. I know it's a Monday, but it might actually suit more people. I think it could be a bumper crowd. It's at the end of the day, it's not just a Monday night match. It's Shamrock Rovers in Oriel. It's a massive game, especially what are we 7 games into the season after that. So I think it's going to be a huge game. I think I'm not saying it'll be a sellout, but I definitely think we'll have a massive crowd at it, and it'll be electric. I'm just hoping it's not absolutely bucketing down with rain, because the pitch is slick enough. But no, I think it'll be a massive game. Is that me? No. I think it's going to be massive.
You're getting the kettle ready for the tea after the bottle, yeah.
Like you always get, like, every team in the country gets up for Rovers when they come to the home ground for a League of Ireland game, and like Steph said, you want to keep your unbeaten. If you can keep it unbeaten after a game like that, that's what will be in the back of their minds. I hate to call it, but I definitely think we can get something out of it. But they'll be up for it. Of course they will be. It's the Dundalk against Rovers. Of course they'll be up for it. I think it's actually better it's on a Monday. I think it gives it that little bit of extra, because you've got. I know what ideally you're not playing Friday, but that's the way the league's fallen over the last couple of weeks. But I think it's actually better on a Monday night. Something a little bit different. I'm looking forward. I think everybody will be looking forward to it. Even Rovers fans. Are they getting tickets? Did they get tickets? What do you get? 10%?
I don't know.
Whatever
don't care about them.
Yeah,
they don't matter.
Just a ticket for atmosphere.
Yeah,
be interesting to see what team they pick, because they have enough players that you can almost like just swap out like their entire midfield, or we've seen a couple of times going to play full back over the midweek games. But it'd just be interesting, because I don't know if I didn't look at their team tonight, but I assume they'd make some changes. Like, we'll make changes, so be interesting to see who they pick. But I was actually curious to see what you all thought of that, the changes that he made for tonight, because I know we've been calling it for Keith Ward to, like, say, start a game, but there's no chance he's starting on Monday. Like, no. even if he hadn't played tonight, there's no way he's playing on Monday, and you think you like want to pack the midfield as much as possible. So I don't know, I guess it would have paid off if they won, but to not put what we assume is his strongest 11 out tonight. How do we feel about that? Because I know it's like we were saying there, we picked the team with Monday in mind, but they still had the game tonight.
Yeah, well, I'd probably be thinking, and Steph, you might answer this one. Like, Hanratty, I think, will probably be in contention to start on Monday night. I think he done enough that there's probably there's been question marks over how McCarry does on that side. I know Sam Bowen played there, didn't he, last weekend on the left side, but there has been question marks over having that right-footed player. And I think on the whole, our back four looked a little bit more balanced, just having that left footer on that side of the pitch. And Steph, do you think he might be in frame to start?
Yeah, I think he could. Look, the only thing that's really stopping him, I think you said it was his first competitive start in the league. So just the experience might count against him. But I don't know if you'd hold many fears of putting him in. Like if he was to go in, it wouldn't be like he'd be totally going, we're going to struggle here. But look, it's a big call to make, and that's why Stevie O'Donnell's in that position. He'll know better than anybody if he was just, resting people up, resting Macari up. He might go in left full again. Not really sure. I think he will. I think he'll go for like a sort of ball players now that like Doyle in the middle, I think might play. I thought he done okay when he came on.
Yeah.
He keeps the ball really well. He's intelligent, and you're gonna need to hold on to the ball as much as you can. It'll be interesting to see. Like, look, I think Dan Kelly might have come in for a start. Just his pace on a counter attack might have suited us. The way they play with the three centre halves, and the space might be in behind the wing backs. But he's going to be out now. Maybe he was resting Adams as well, and you just don't know. It just seems from my experience that he's going to go back to players that he did. But I don't think Hanratty done himself any harm tonight. I think he done himself more favours than anything else.
Yeah, and I suppose, look, 5 games in, we're kind of seeing what his tactics are and how he likes to play it. I wonder, will he be as ambitious or maybe as ambitious maybe Stephen Kenny was, where he wouldn't sit back in a game like this, where is he going to try and just play his normal game? Because Rovers are a team that, as you say, it's 7-8 teams in the league are going to sit back and let them play. And sometimes if you go the opposite way and you actually take them on, that's when you get results against them. So that's probably going to be an interesting call from do we actually sit deep, and do we just try frustrate them and catch them on the counter, or does he actually go for it like he has been doing in the last couple of games?
I feel like his Pats teams last season were very, very compact against Rovers. Like they didn't. Now, I think there's only a couple of times I would have seen them play against them, but it felt like they were very, very compact, very organised, very hard to break down. Like the kind of performances we've had now the last few games. So it wasn't the guy that had the mug of tea. But yeah, so I assume it'll be the same. Like Steph was saying, that not having Kelly, I'd say, is a big blow for Monday. To have that counter attack pace, but it's up to someone else to step in now. But I imagine it'll be as compact as possible, and maybe Doyle goes in there as well, and it's just an extra ball player in there, an extra ball winner as well, So, but that's what I'd expect. But like, the games between the two teams have been like there's a lot of times where there's not very much in like between the two teams, and it just comes down to the odd free kick or corner or goalkeeping mistake or something. So like, I know we haven't done the predictions or whatever, but I know what my prediction is. So I'll just wait until we get to it, and then you'll never guess what I think is going to happen.
I'm due to go first in the predictions at some stage this season.
Yeah, I suppose before we go into that, we'll go into our man of the match for tonight. Gally, who's your pick for that?
I'm just going to base it purely on just the influence on the scoreline, and I'm going to go for Pat Hoban. I see a couple of Robbie Bensons. Yeah, look, I thought they played well. I'm just going to go for Hoban. I'm just going to make it very simple. I'm not going to get into it. For the influence on the goal, Ward could be another one, but no, I'm just going to stick with Pat Hoban because he put the ball in the back. And then 100 goals, look at man of the match for me.
Where were the other 99? Kelly, I didn't say that. All right, Donald.
For me, it's between the two guys and our kid at left back, but I'll actually go with Robbie Benson and I think it's important as well. Just saying that, like, between Hoban and himself, like, those are the two lads that are going to play every single match, every single minute if they're fit. And I think you can really see the importance of the two of them on the team. And I thought Robbie Benson was great. He probably played exactly the same as he always does. Like you get almost the same performance out of him, same as Hooven. There's professionalism in both of them that you get the same performance almost every time. So, but I thought he was very good and very important tonight. So I'll go with Bobby Renson.
Steph. Actually, I'll go first. No,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, look, I know you were texting me and giving out about Hooven just before he scored again.
Don't even start.
But look, I thought his work rate was brilliant. He was living off a bit of scraps at times, but he was holding on to the ball. Hanratty, I thought was good, considering it was his first game on an away match up in Tolka against a tough team. Like, I thought J.R. Wilson was their best player, but I thought Benson like makes us tick, and he moves the ball. He picks up these positions. Like, sometimes you'd be thinking that can't be Benson on this side, on the right hand side, and then matter of seconds later he's on the left hand side linking the ball up, and he's so clever and keeps the ball. I think he just slightly shaded it for me, Benson.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Benson as well because it makes it easy to pick our pizza winner. So I think he just, again, we're seeing every week, aren't we, what we missed with him over the last couple of seasons. So it's great to have him back in there and have that work rate and have that kind of person dictating the game in the middle of the park. So Robbie Benson for me, and I think the winner tonight of the pizza is Katie McEnany. There we go, Katie. Congratulations.
Well, Katie.
And then I suppose, look, we'll try wrap up early because we'll be back on Monday night. We'll go with the predictions. Steph, I'll let you go first, pal.
Yeah, I 1-0 Dundalk.
Straight in,
Done.
no mess, love it.
Done.
Just no.
Done. I think it's going to be a set piece, and I think Andy Boyle is going to score this time.
Set piece, just taking notes. Andy
I think we're going to score in the 37th minute.
Wished.
It's going to be a corner. The crowd's really going to get behind us.
Some crack if this comes
pressure. They're going to put a bit of pressure on, but we're going to hold out. Young Shepherd's going to learn from his mistake the last time, and Hanratty's going to be bombing down the left-hand side.
Steph, we lost seven viewers there as you were going through that. Gally.
I'm going to go 2-0. I'm going to really stick my neck out on this one. I'm going to go 2-0 to the Dundalk. I just think the crowd Monday night will be up for it. Rovers haven't done enough for me this season. I know the top of the league, I get it, but I don't think they've been. I think there's too many players. I said this already. I think too many boys to keep happy. I'm going to go 2-0. I completely regret it, but I'm going 2-0. I'm not going to get into the goal scores. I think Bradley.
No, you have to know.
Well, then I'll go Bradley on the double, just because it's Stephen Bradley coming to town. Bradley's got to get a goal, hasn't he?
Hopefully, yeah. Donald.
Yeah, I'm going with a Dundalk win. I'm going for a 2-1. I'm going to say that we're going to be 2-0 up with 15 minutes to go, and we're going to give up a stupid goal, and we're going to be living on our nerves for the last 15 minutes, and the place will be absolutely rocking.
They're the best, mate.
I'm going to hold on for a 2-1 win. And when the whistle goes, whoever has the ball will punt the ball out of the stadium, way down the Carrick Road, busting someone's window in the car. It'll be a great night.
Oh, Jesus.
Better not park the Carrick Road in then.
That's why it's the second-rate podcast. But yeah, I'm gonna go 2-1 as well, Donald. Sorry to tell you, but that's my prediction every week, so I'm sticking with it. I'm gonna say Hulk Hoban's gonna score in the first half, and I heard the commentators tonight saying that Disco Dave McMillan was warming up pre-match and he was doing a run before the game. So I think he's gonna come on and he's gonna be the hero and score in the last 6 minutes. I'm not going to say the exact minute, but he's going to
see what you started, Steph. We're all getting into this very technical news. This is what you started.
I'll try to get it to 1 hour. I'll try to get it to an hour. So, but yeah, I'm going to say that Disco Dave is going to get the winner for us. He's going to come back and it'll be like he's never gone. So we're going to beat Rovers. And
I think maybe anybody watching probably thinking I'm mad and think we're going to turn Rovers. But I think Oriel Park against Rovers is a different, and we haven't really had it. You know, that kind of way we've had COVID and stuff. I know there was some games at Oriel last year, but now everybody's back. Anybody's, season tickets are back. Everybody's going to be up at it. I can't. It's made for a good night of football. I think if we can keep a clean sheet, I think we'll definitely score. I just think the night that's in it. I'm looking forward to it. The only thing is I've trained until 7:00, so I'm hoping to leave very, very, very quick.
So I could be doing the pod on my own then after. Can't wait.
Yeah. Chris is after texting me there. He said 1-1 Chris Shields penalty.
That'd be some bet.
Chris is already picking him as man of the match as well. But look, I suppose we'll wrap it up there for tonight. Thanks everybody for listening in. Thanks very much to Bernard Freeman for coming on to talk about the ladies' football. The under-17 girls are playing in Oriel Park tomorrow against Shamrock Rovers. You get your warm-up for Monday night. Steph, we're going to leave you with the bottom line tonight.
We're all happy hand raddies.